Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back with another video, and today we are continuing our 2022 predictions in the Oklahoma Sooners. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I'm just saying an FYI real quick, I'm recording this during a thunderstorm, so if you hear anything in the background, it's probably that. So I can't really do anything about it, but let's hop straight into this prediction. Oklahoma. The big headline is Lincoln Riley leaving a top-tier program in Oklahoma for another top-tier program in USC. And with him, he brought a lot of people with him. Caleb Williams, who was emerging as a true freshman and a great quarterback for Oklahoma, he's going to go to USC. They brought tons and tons of transfers in from Oklahoma and follow him to USC, including many recruits, the main one like Malachi Nelson. And then also you brought a lot of the staff. Main one is probably Alex Grinch, but that could actually be a blessing in disguise for this Oklahoma team, as a lot of Sooners fans really didn't like Grinch to begin with. You got Brent Venables coming in as head coach, a long-beloved Clemson defensive coordinator. He used to coach at Oklahoma, now he's back. So I think he was actually kind of waiting for this Oklahoma job to open up. So he comes into Oklahoma. He brings in Ole Miss's offensive coordinator, Jeff Lebby, who was an absolute monster last year. He was a former offensive coordinator at UCF before that time, which is very relevant to a quarterback, which we would get to in a second. And then they also got a new defensive coordinator in Todd Bates. Going back to what I just talked about with Jeff Lebby, his quarterback at UCF was Dillon Gabriel. And Dillon Gabriel had a lot of hype going into his years at UCF. It really wasn't that good last year due to injury, and then of course Gus Malzahn with the new system. But overall, Dillon Gabriel is a really good quarterback. He actually transferred to UCLA, but then once Jeff Lebby was hired at Oklahoma, he flipped his commitment from UCLA to Oklahoma. Out of all the quarterbacks on this Oklahoma team, I'm pretty sure there's 5. Only one of them is coming back from their season last year, and that is Micah Bowens. And to be honest, he may be the 5th quarterback, as you got Dillon Gabriel, Davis Bevel, General Booty, and then Nick Evers as a true freshman. So the majority of this quarterback room is transfers, and you just look at this team, tons of transfers are actually coming in, mainly because Lincoln Riley stole so much. But the offensive line is still going to be pretty good. You still got senior transfer in Eric Gray as he decided to return. The big return probably is going to be Marvin Mims, who I was very high on heading into this year. He decided to return as well. You also got Drake Stoops and Theo Wise, or Weeze, I always get that mixed up. But even also, you got some receivers transferring in, like Tyler Guyton from TCU, LV Bunkley Shelton from ASU, and JJ Hester coming in from Mizzou. So this receiving core is still very deep. Yes, it may not be as star-powered as last year, but Oklahoma, you still got tons of depth at the receiver position. So Dillon Gabriel still should be slugging that thing with ease. Overall, I think this offense is going to be very okay. I think Jeff Lebby is going to be great with this offense. And even though you did lose Lincoln Riley, I think this offense is going to be overall better than people anticipate heading into this upcoming season. Now the defense. As you know, Brent Venables is the defensive-minded coach. What has been the issue with Oklahoma for many years? The defense. Their offense has always been like top 5, top 10, but the defense has always been horrendous, and that's probably the main reason why they haven't won a college football game, even though they have like 4 appearances. And like I said, well, I didn't say it actually. I forgot to say, they're 64th in returning production, 47% of the offense, which is 116th in the nation. But the defense, 82% of the defensive starters come back, which is 16th, which is phenomenal for the Sooners team. And yes, even though the stars of this team, Nick Benito and Perion Winfrey, did declare for the NFL draft, you still have tons of starters here. The main defender I'm going to assume is going to be Jalen Redmond coming in as the defensive tackle. I think Key Lawrence and Woody Washington are going to be pretty good this upcoming season. Trey Morrison transferred in. Also, you got Jeffrey Johnson, who's a senior from Tulane, transferring in. I think he's going to have a day one impact. And overall, as a defensive-minded coach in the scheme, this defense is going to be improved so drastically in year 1 under Brett Helms that overall, I think, yes, you're not going to have like the college football playoff aspirations. And as we go into this schedule, that week 3 game is a big circle mark, but overall it's very tough because the Big 12 always plays himself. But week 1 and 2, I'm not even going to waste anybody's time. UTEP, yes, they're a good Conference USA team. You're going to whoop them. Easy week 1 game. Kent State, I don't even know much about them, but all I know is they're going to have one guaranteed loss at Oklahoma next week. You're going to go into Lincoln 2-0. Both of these teams could be undefeated. This is going to be the big noon kickoff game on Fox. A big rivalry game coming back into the college football realm. We saw it last year. Nebraska actually almost upset the Sooners. And I understand a lot of people transferred out of Nebraska. Mainly their starting quarterback in Adrian Martinez, as he's now at Kansas State. But Casey Thompson is there at Nebraska. And personally, with the new coaching staff Nebraska got, I think Casey Thompson is the most slept-on quarterback for statistic-wise heading into this season. I think Casey Thompson is going to have an astounding season. And as he leads this Nebraska offense, this is going to be one of those games. This is going to be one of those stepping stones where it's like kind of a tumble there for the Sooners. As I actually have Nebraska winning this game at home as the Sooners leave Lincoln with a loss. After a loss, they face Kansas State, and man, oh man, as the Wildcats own the Sooners for the past few years, it seems like. And I'm very high on this Kansas State team heading into this year. You will find out that eventually when we get to their predictions. But overall, I think Oklahoma, after a big loss, is going to be furious after this game, and they're not going to want to start off with back-to-back losses under this new coaching staff. And their first game there, a loss in conference play, that's not going to happen. Close game. I think the Wildcats and the Sooners always match up close. This is going to be another one of those instances. Sooners pull out on top on this one. Next game, you're at TCU. And I'm going to be honest, TCU, I'm not high on at all. Even though I do like Sonny Dykes, I think this Oklahoma defense is actually going to show up and win a game for the Sooners. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Sooners defense is going to win a game for Oklahoma. And after that stretch, you're going to be 4-1 as you head into the Red River rivalry versus Texas. And Texas has even more hype as Oklahoma this year. You got Quinn Ewers in at quarterback. You got Bijan Robinson, the best running back in college football, returning. Xavier Worthy's bound to have a big year. Then also you got to transfer in Isaiah Nayer from Wyoming, a super underrated pickup. The defense is coming back, and the coaching staff is only going to get better. The Sooners are going to win this game. I'm sorry, Texas. This is going to be another close game here in the Cotton Bowl, but I think Oklahoma's team at this point is just going to rally behind after that Nebraska loss. They're going to go on a run here. And I think this is another one of those close games. For the past few years, this whole rivalry's been close. It's not even a surprise anymore. But overall, I think Texas, even though they have the talent, they are going to stumble a few times throughout the season. They're not back this year. I think Oklahoma finds a way to win another close game. And then after the Cotton Bowl thriller, you host Kansas. And not only is Kansas going to be improved, instead of losing by 30, they're going to lose by 29. Oklahoma wins that one. Then you have a bye, and then you're at Iowa State. And man, oh man, this is always a trap game. It's always tough to play in Ames. But Iowa State is one of the few teams that are below 50% in returning production this year. I understand Matt Campbell is a phenomenal coach, but is that really going to be enough to beat this Oklahoma Sooners team? No. It's going to be a close game. This Ames crowd's going to be a lot for the Sooners team, but I think the Sooners barely pull away in Ames. And after an almost loss last week, you host the Big 12 champions in Baylor. And I think you're going to lose this one if you're Oklahoma. I think Baylor's defense is going to be a little too much. I think Shapen at quarterback is going to be he's going to be better than we saw in the Big 12 championship game. I think that at this point in the season, Baylor's really going to flesh and they're going to be dominant. And I just think this is going to be a very close game. Baylor pulls away. This is a 50-50 game. But between this Iowa State, Baylor, and West Virginia, well, this 4-game stretch, really, between Iowa State, Baylor, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, I think you lose one of those games. And I have you losing home versus Baylor. Next, you're at West Virginia. kind of like what I said with Stanford. I have a love-hate relationship with this Baylor team. Not Baylor, West Virginia team. Sometimes I think West Virginia is going to be like 9th in the Big 10, Big 12, and they're only going to go 4-8. But other times I'm like, there's a little too much talent on this team, and they can easily win a game. I think this West Virginia all this year is going to be very rocky, and this is going to be a close game like the last few games have. Oklahoma wins this game, though. Then you host Oklahoma State, and oh boy, Bedlam. Last year it was a big game. Oklahoma State in a must-win game. They barely defeated the Sooners at home, and I've been very vocal about how I think Ohio State's going to handle Michigan. It's going to be a throttle. Ohio State wins by 20. I'm not going to say it's going to be that much of a whooping, but I think Oklahoma is going to be furious about that game last year, as they still do have a few players that was in that game last year. I think it's going to be another close. Well, it's not going to be close. I think Oklahoma wins this game by 10. It's in Norman. I think Oklahoma will get revenge. And then that last week, you're at Texas Tech. And I absolutely love Texas Tech this year. I think they're getting a little slept on, as I'm a big fan of Joey McGuire and Zach Kitley. It's going to be a little closer than people anticipate, but I do think at the end of the day, Oklahoma wins this game by around 10 points. And looking at the schedule, I may be a little higher on the Sooners than most people are. I have Oklahoma going 10-2. Personally, I think that is the ceiling of this team, 10-2. I think with the amount of games on the schedule, I don't see you going 11-1. I do think you will slip up one time on the road, and then probably versus one of the top opponents. The floor for this team, if things don't gel right between this offense, I could see this team going 8-4. In your opinion, what do you have for Oklahoma heading into this year? And yeah, like always, like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss any videos. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.